Welcome to the first ever Cancer Comfort podcast. Now, the reason why I'm doing an audio podcast is because my children told me that I have a good face for radio. So here I am, with my radio face, bringing the comforts I received from the Lord to you. Now, this first podcast is not going to sound very comforting, I must be honest, because the beginning of my story is not comforting in itself, but I believe and I hope that as I continue to tell the story, I really hope that you will find comfort in God's amazing ability to comfort us so we can comfort others. I will never forget that day my life and the life of my family changed forever. It was a Monday, exactly 1 week after I was taken into hospital with severe bleeding. My wife and I sat in the doctor's room waiting for him to give us the news. And it was just the previous Thursday that I had a colonoscopy. And after I came out of the theater, the surgeon came to me and he showed me the picture, and on the picture was the tumor. A tumor in my rectum. Apparently, it was the tumor that caused the bleeding. He said that we had to wait for the results of the biopsy to know whether it was malignant or not. I remember the day that I started bleeding. I was doing paving for the chicken coop. I stopped working at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon in a lot of pain and discomfort. Well, I'm one of those people that try to push through the pain and to finish what I want to get done on that specific day. And it was just after 10 o'clock that evening that I started bleeding. I had the fright of my life. I have never seen so much blood come out of my body before. That evening, my son took me to the hospital. They put me on a drip, and I was taken to a ward, and I got settled around about 2 o'clock the next morning. I remember how I would push my backside into the bed just to make sure that I didn't start bleeding again. I stayed in the hospital until the colonoscopy was done, and the doctor took basically 6 pieces from the tumor to be tested. Now, the waiting period between seeing the pictures of the tumor and receiving the results of the biopsy felt like eternity. I cannot describe what happened in my head. What if it's cancer? I knew the diagnosis, whatever it was going to change my life, especially if it was cancer. It could mean a death sentence. That was what was in my mind. But let me come back to that moment in the doctor's room, waiting for the results of the biopsy. I remember the words of the surgeon clearly when he said it in Afrikaans, the tumor is cancerous. I kind of expected it, but I wasn't ready for it. The doctor told us, because the tumor was so low down in the rectum, that the complete rectum will have to be removed. It was called a complete proctectomy. He drew a picture on the back of the report from Lancet to show me exactly what will have to be removed. It was graphic, and I kind of didn't like what I was seeing. What happened was I just sat there, speechless. I always said that I wanted someone to be straightforward with me. Don't keep things back. I need to know. But man, those words hit me between the eyes. Now, those of you who received this kind of news before will know exactly what I'm talking about. I remember how the doctor then asked my wife and myself if we had any questions. I just sat there. My mind was blank. I didn't have any questions. I had nothing. I didn't even think anything. I kind of jumped into my empty box. They say that men have an empty box. An empty box that we climb into when we need to be alone. And nobody can get into our empty box. It's ours. And I was in my empty box. I didn't think anything. I didn't feel anything. It was as if life was just taken out of me. Now, I can't remember. I think I asked him a question. I can't remember what it was, because I was emotionally not really there. Now, when we left the doctor's room, it was time to face reality. I had cancer. I've now been diagnosed, and I didn't know what to do next. And let me tell you, in the process, I remember every step of the way how the Lord kind of directed our footsteps. I will tell you more as time goes on. But there's something that I'm so grateful about, and that's my family. Because my family loves the Lord, and we could pray together. We could cry together. We could actually make jokes together, and we could talk about all the new realities that we were about to face, and then we would also cry again. We would cry often. I wasn't dead yet, but let me tell you, it felt as if I was mourning at my own funeral. In my mind, cancer was a death sentence, and I received that sentence. I took it upon myself. I really took it seriously, and I made it my own. In my mind, I was saying to myself, I'm dying of cancer. I looked death in the eye, and you know what happened? My knees gave way. I mean, I was still acting strong. I was acting as if I was coping, but inside, I wasn't coping at all. But you know what? I can only but praise the Lord. I can praise God because He has a way of comforting us in ways that is naturally supernatural. So God willing, in the next podcast, I would like to share some of my experiences with you, especially how the Lord, through His Word and obviously precious brothers and sisters that He used, how I was comforted to the point where I am now, that I can share the comfort that I have received with others, with you. And you know what? I believe that if the Lord has comforted you, you can also comfort others. So that at the end of the day, we can face cancer, knowing that it's not a death sentence. That's not what cancer is. I believe that cancer is an opportunity. Cancer is an opportunity to take stock of our lives. But I'll speak more about that as time goes on. Cancer is not a death sentence. It's an opportunity. And if we look at it as an opportunity, wow, let me tell you, there's so much comfort in that. So I hope that as we work our way through these podcasts, as I share the comforts that I received from the Lord and from others with you, I hope that you in turn will be able to share that comfort with others. So at the end of the day, nobody that has cancer or nobody that is involved in someone's life who has cancer, that none of us will not be comforted, but that we all will be comforted and also have the ability or the opportunity or the want to comfort others. So God willing, until next time when we speak again, God bless, and remember, God is our comfort.